Coming to you live from the JRE Tobacco Aladino Mobile Studios, it's the Cigar Pulpit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm the Bishop of the Burn, Nick, and today I will be joined by Mike Brinker, who, as you hear, we caught up and chatted for a little while. He has moved to Georgia, and, well, he's finding it a little bit more difficult to find his cigars down there. He definitely has moved to an area with significantly less lounges and shops. And so we talk a little bit about kind of how he's making it in what we describe as a cigar desert. Obviously, some people have it much worse than he does, but we kind of talk a little bit about how he's making it and go from there. So anyway, guys, I'll just jump right into it. This is my conversation with Mike Brinker, and we're joined by Mike Brinker. How you doing, Mike? I'm great, man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you too.
How's life been?
Not too bad. Not too bad. A little warmer down here in the state of Georgia, which is nice. Had a hell of a storm today. It's nice now, but I mean, we had, like tornado warnings and shit. It's kind of crazy. All that shit that was going through Texas the other day came through here about 4:30, 5 o'clock this morning.
Okay. Well, it seems to be impacting your internet slightly. So for anybody who's watching the video, Mike might freeze periodically, but we're working on it.
Right.
The technicians are working on it. Exactly. So let's get a cigar going. You and I are going to be smoking two very similar but ever so slightly different cigars today.
Okay.
I am going to be smoking the Perdomo 20th anniversary sun-grown Epicure. It's a 6x56 Nicaraguan Puro. And what have you got?
I am going to be smoking the 20th anniversary Maduro Gordo.
Perfect. Oh, Gordo. Okay, so you went a little bigger.
Yeah, that's what they had, And
okay.
So you got to go with what you got.
Well, precisely. And we're going to get to that because that's the thing that we're going to talk about a lot today is cigar deserts.
Yes.
Kind of what happens when suddenly you're living somewhere and your options are a little bit more limited. But anyway, it's time to cut the cigar.
Just have to be a little more creative.
Well, and you can pull that off. Just means you're smoking a Gordo instead of an Epicure. So anyway, it's time to cut the cigar. The official cutting is brought to you by 2guyscigars.com. That's the number 2guyscigars.com. Two Guys have been around for 40 years, and they are the trusted name in the cigar industry. Everybody knows Two Guys, but if you don't, please give them a try. You won't be sorry. Family owned and operated, 2guyscigars.com does the very best to provide a great selection, fair prices, and excellent customer service. So head on over to 2guyscigars.com for your next cigar purchase. Be purposeful with your purchase. And tell them that the Cigar Pulpit sent you. A lot of P's in that sentence there. Just remember, that's the number 2guyscigars.com. And with that, it's time to go ahead and cut the cigar. Now, did you recently, you recently were doing some online purchasing?
Yes, I was.
Yeah.
You just want to dive right into that hole?
Well, no, sure. You know what? Let's cut the cigar. Let's get the cigars going. And then from there we can die. I was hoping we could piggyback off the Two Guys and give them a little bit more plug, but we'll wait. Because you know what it is time for now. Unless you want to do a real quick cold draw on that guy and give a cold draw notation.
Mine's doing good so far.
Okay.
Can't really get anything on the taste, but my draw is amazing.
Good. Well, they do draw test at the Perdomo factory there.
Well, and this is a semi-box press. Mine is. Yours is not.
Mine is too. Is it?
Okay, it's hard to tell.
It's a very soft box press, but yeah, it's a box press and very kind of, I don't know, there's a almost like a slight gingerbready cookiness or something, and like I love the sun grown.
When I was
So,
looking up some of the things to look for, it did say notes of a cinnamon with the Maduro.
oh, there you go. There you go.
So I didn't pick that up on the cold, but we'll see what happens once I get this puppy lit up.
There you go. Well, while we light up the cigar, let's hear the greatest commercial that you've ever heard.
Some say cigars are all the same. It's just not true. It's you I have to blame. Well, I don't know, because what I know, there is a cigar called Aladino. Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. They say authentic, so we're not confused, while the others say it's a word that's just abused. I guess that's so. They can't compete. At least I'm sure Aladino can't be beat. Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Corojo. Aladino Cigars uses authentic Corojo tobacco from JRE Tobacco. This is the greatest commercial you ever heard. Yeah.
All right. So
That one never gets old.
You sure? Are you sure? So anyway, well, now that we've got this guy lit and everything, let's go ahead and jump into it. So as I was saying, you were just doing some online purchasing here very recently because just to recap the listeners, you have moved. You are down in Georgia now. And
down about 20 miles below Macon.
Okay. All right. So that gives everybody kind of a geographic idea. So give before we get into the online purchasing, give a little snapshot. What are you working with there versus what you were working with here in the St. Louis area?
Well, obviously in the St. Louis area, there was 4 or 5 very fine shops readily available within about 10 minutes drive.
Yeah.
Not counting a store me and you frequent that wasn't a lounge but had tons of standards.
Precisely. Well, I mean, we'll mention it. Captain Z's, it's a liquor store.
Yeah.
And but they've got a really, really nice big, well-stocked humidor there. And
right.
All that. So yeah.
Now down here, about 15-20 minutes away, I have a very nice lounge with a moderately sized walk-in humidor.
Okay.
It's a newer shop. I think they're still working on things. They've got, some good stuff. It's more medium to higher end stuff, which is nice for someone like me. I mean, when I go to a lounge, I'm not, I'd like something good to smoke there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now where I'm at living, I can smoke at the house all the time on the back porch where I am now. So I don't need a place to smoke as much as other people may. So that doesn't hurt me too bad. But other than that, it is smoke shops, and strip malls that don't have lounges, just, a couple cabinets here and there. And so basically what you got to do is mall and, cherry pick from each one because none of them have the same stuff. So it's just trying to find what you can.
So you're just driving around all over, checking each different one and seeing what you can find.
Right.
Now, generally, what do you find at the smoke shops and at that lounge that you're talking about? Like, I know you said higher end, but list off some, give some brands, give some ideas.
Like at the lounge, we've discussed this, a lot of McAuliffe's, some Rockies, Oliva, a few of the nicer AJs. Let's see.
That's not a bad selection because I mean, with McAuliffe, you're getting the black and the blue and the red and everything in there, and those are nice priced, really good cigars. And then, but then, you also have other selections from them, but then you have some other selections from the other brands that you're talking about. So you have a little bit of a smattering.
Right. And they do tend to price their stuff very competitively, I guess I
That's
would
good.
put it, for not having a lot of competition. They
They're
don't
not
seem to be
gouging.
yeah, because they're trying to get people who only have probably bought online.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
can't sticker shock these guys,
Well, and that's exactly it. You're living in an area that maybe if they're buying, you're right, they're probably buying catalog or online. Um some at the smoke shops like you're talking about. So they're used to those kind of more discounted prices. And yeah, that's a really valid point.
Now the smoke shops tend to be a little bit higher on moderately priced stuff.
Hmm.
Your General, your Altadis, stuff like that. They seem to be almost maybe a buck higher per stick than what
Really?
I would think they should be, or have seen other places. Because I know what they're paying for them. I used to
Well,
order.
yeah, you used to do it. Yeah.
Right.
That's an interesting thing. I wonder what's up with that. Why would the smoke shops be, unless they're just trying to get that higher profit margin to justify the space in the shop?
Or they maybe have more customer base that just don't know any better.
That's possible too. What about if they're not buying direct from the manufacturer? What if they're going through like a distributor or something like that?
Right.
Are the prices higher if you do that versus going through the
Oh yeah.
manufacturer?
I mean, even though it may not be a lot more, it's still going to be more,
Which
so
would then impact that bottom line price a little bit.
right.
Um, because I kind of have this, and stay, you can correct me if maybe I'm incorrect in my thinking here, but when I go into a shop, a lounge or something like that, and I find that maybe, well, I'll tell you, I've got a good example right here in 3 minutes away from me is a lounge that I've been popping into, and they have a really, really deep Drew Estate selection.
Right.
And a lot of their other brands, by and large, they they maybe only carry a couple of facings, like maybe, and in some cases, maybe only like one or two.
Mm-hmm.
And with those, I kind of make the assumption that with a shop that's set up like that, I kind of make the assumption that the Drew Estate rep actually has taken an interest with them and has gone in and worked with them and done whatever they've done. But that maybe for some of these other brands that they only have like one or two facings of, what you maybe find is that they're just using a distributor to
Right.
get that, just to flesh out the selection a little bit. And so, and to that point, their cigars over there are probably about $1 or so higher than what I think they should be. So I wonder, if maybe that's the case, is that if the selection is a little more limited, they're probably not dealing with reps, they're dealing with just a distributor,
Right.
and they're cherry picking maybe from a catalog to like
You know,
figure out what they're going to put on the shelf.
and I did that. I had a distributor out of Chicago I was using for certain brands where I didn't have any representation in St. Louis.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Because a lot of people, believe it or not, as many shops as there are in St. Louis, it's kind of a dead zone for representation for a lot of brands.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's just outside of everyone's territory.
And the brands that do have a rep there tend to do really decently because they've got
Right.
somebody working it,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's harder to say no to a face.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's an interesting point. Well, and if you're, where you're located, especially if there's only one lounge, I mean, my God, how many reps are rolling through there on a regular basis?
Right.
Probably
Right.
next to none. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And
that would make some sense then.
now there is a really nice, like total high end one in Macon. I have not checked out yet, but that's like they actually have food there as well.
Really?
And like the entrees are like $40-$50. So, it's like
Okay.
they're a high end eatery and a high end lounge with top shelf liquor and everything. That's one of those maybe a
Yeah.
special occasion. Go up there and check that out.
How far of a drive is that? You said you're about 20 miles south of Macon?
Yeah,
Oh, so you can make it there super quick.
right. That one's not too far out of the realm of
Yeah.
possibility. It's just
It's just the cost.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably more of a that's not somewhere you go by yourself to just hang out and watch the game type deal.
That's if like I got you. That's
Like
people are
let's
in
say you make it
town.
down to town down here for something.
Exactly.
We would go there for dinner, have a few smokes type of thing.
Gotcha. Wrangle up Bauer and come down there and crash. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe catch Trey Mack on his way through town.
I mean, that's a possibility too. I mean, especially now that he's living the Florida life. That son of a bitch. he's rubbing it in every opportunity he gets, by the way. It's gross. But okay, so that makes some sense then. So in terms of that lounge that you've got there, close to you, like, are they open to suggestion? Like, could you go in there and be like, hey, I used to run a shop up in the St. Louis area. This is, these are some really good brands that maybe you ought to reach out and see if you can get some samples so you could try and consider, whatever, or like, are they, or have you even, I don't know if you've even talked to them all that much.
I've talked to it's been the same employee there each of the 3 times I've been up there so far.
Okay, so they have employees. It's not just the shop owner running the place.
And this is someone who could not make decisions. Really nice kid, but because they also sell vape stuff there too.
Oh, okay.
Cabinets, and that would be the first thing I'd recommend is like you got way too much space dedicated to that unless your revenue is dictating that. You got this beautiful lounge that no one vapes in. It's like tons of lockers. A lot of the lockers are taken, so they have a high membership already. It seems like
okay.
A nice membership program. It's a BYOB because liquor down here is kind of weird.
Bible Belt,
Yeah, like they say, it's weird because they got all these rules against drinking, but everyone's always drunk.
Just it's another good example of how you can't legislate humanity, like that. I mean, people are going to do what they're going to do,
right?
Yeah, but anyway, so what about so like, okay, so what about like if you have lockers, let's say, I don't know, let's say there's a brand that's curious, and I'm talking, this is going to be more for the brand, the manufacturers, but like I'm just kind of thinking, like, if you had a shop that you wanted to get into and you saw an opportunity, I mean, find out how many locker owner or people they've got, throw them a sample for every one of those locker people, and then the locker, the shop can be like, hey, a free cigar this month is the blah blah blah. Like, I don't know if they carry Perdomo, but hell, if they don't carry Perdomo, then they could get a free.
I did get this Perdomo there, so they do carry.
Okay,
Perdomo.
so they do carry Perdomo, but anyway, whatever. The bottom line is they could put like something free in the lockers, let everybody try it, and then you kind of can pull the locker people to see, like, hey, would you buy this? That kind of thing. Right. I don't know, just a thought, but
that'd be a way for a new shop to grow their inventory.
Yeah,
like that, because I mean, I think they're less than a year old.
Okay.
But yeah, I need to get up there a little bit more and try to meet with the owner and just see what's going on and
find out the story.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you're limited to the one that's close that you're talking about, which it sounds like it has a lot of potential.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's a shop that has a lot of potential, but it's young, needs a little bit of a guiding hand. How convenient that Mike Brinker just moved to town, but whatever. But then from there, you have the smoke shops, and obviously the smoke shop, they're going to do what they're going to do. I mean, they probably got a cabinet from General, like donated to him from General, and it's like, okay, here's your cabinet, fill it with our product, that kind of thing, or something.
Right.
Would you think?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So with them, like you said, you go around, you get what you get. Hopefully it's humidified, and you kind of go, well, dude, there's at least one gas station around here I could think of that everybody talks, oh, they got a really nice humidor, and you go there and it's a cabinet, it's one of the larger cabinets, probably about the same size as the ones that you and I used to encounter over there in Crestwood. And but the problem is the guys working the gas station don't know shit about filling the distilled water in that thing and getting the humidification going. So you run the risk of like, how dried out is that cigar when you buy it,
Yeah.
So is it going to shatter on impact, or are you going to get a little life out of it, but back to the main topic, you're not necessarily in a cigar desert to where you have no options.
Correct.
But you're definitely not like living the high life with lots of options there.
I was spoiled with lounges.
Yeah.
I guess is the best way to put it. I can get what I want. Maybe not same day, but I can get what I want. I know the different online brick and mortars to shop through, like you guys and whatnot. Or I can talk to you if there's something they don't carry, where can I go to get this without really going to a conglomerate type deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, and there's so many smoke shops. I haven't even hit half of them around here.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of cabinets I haven't even looked in yet.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there still might be some gems that I can find, because everyone around here smokes something.
Okay.
So,
something.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so like in terms of your online efforts, we won't get into maybe specifics of like where you went, but you did a little online shopping recently and you had some difficulties.
Correct. Mainly with the age verification at some of the main big boys. That was a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
And it caused me with one of them, I will not name, to get a double shipment because they canceled it. I went somewhere else, ordered it, and then they out of nowhere charged me and shipped it. And I was just like, oh, well, screw it. It's what I wanted anyway. I just got more of them,
Yeah. But you had to pay for it twice now because you ordered it somewhere else, but then also ordered it
right,
or inadvertently ordered it again through them by them charging it again. So, that can be a real hit to the budget if, let's say, you're planning on X amount and then suddenly twice that is what's taken from your account.
Yeah. Well, luckily, these were more of my budget-friendly sticks that are my quick hitters and stuff. It was most specifically the Villiger exports.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So instead of having one pack of 50, I ended up with 2 packs of 50.
Oh, well, I mean, they're not going to go to waste, but
right.
yeah.
And it also involved with one of them a pack of Drew Estate factory smokes.
Okay. Okay.
That I keep around.
So it's not like it's high price stuff.
Right. These weren't like $400 boxes or nothing like that.
Yeah, you're not getting that Fuente Padron collaboration sent to you twice there, huh?
No.
It's like, oh shit, $2,000 just left my account. Where'd that go?
2 boxes of Atabay. What?
I mean, although let's be real, if you were sitting on 2 boxes of that, you could flip the hell out of that. And make some decent. Yeah, you could make that work for you if you wanted to. But yeah, okay, well. Anyway, that was a deviation. Well, see, and that's the thing. And I don't know. And admittedly, it has been so long since I have done any online purchasing that hasn't been 2 guys. Truthfully, I don't even remember any age verification stuff. I'm trying to think, it may have been like 2018, like yeah.
The big problem is, and it's all done through like a government third-party site, but because I just moved, my driver's license does not match my mailing or billing address anymore.
And so you haven't gone to Georgia to get an updated license for
right
them.
because I'm establishing my residency stuff So because I have to have that to go get the new license. And so that was just kicking it out. So
Yeah.
then what I had to do was like, here's the situation, type out here's the situation and scan the front and back of my license. And then they're like, oh, okay. Well, why didn't you just do that from the beginning then? You know, it's like,
yeah. Ugh, that's annoying.
right.
But, you know, so it's kind of a little bit of a unique situation too.
Right.
That you're
Very
dealing
unique
with.
to me. Yes.
Yeah. But not completely unique to everybody. I mean, like, for example, you know, I bought this house in July. Admittedly, I drug my feet a little bit getting my driver's license updated in Illinois because, you know, I hate the DMV and it's a pain in the ass. And, you know, whatever. I have finally gotten my driver's license updated. But it's been a bit of a thing to where, to your point, I have utility bills in my name at this address. I have my billing address for my credit cards or debit cards or whatever, all to this address. However, my driver's license was not this address. It was still same state, you know, but it wasn't this address. And so I would have been potentially dealing with the same situation. So interesting. So and that's so cigar deserts are definitely a real issue that people have to contend with. And so, like, in terms of how you're dealing with it, like, I don't know, what advice would you give to people that, like, maybe they're, you know, dealing with a even worse situation than you are?
Basically you got to pick your friends' brains.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe you know smokers around your area, maybe you don't. That's where like the parishioner group might come in a little more handy. You know, hey, what's a good brick and mortar that ships online that I can, you know, buy what I need and, you know, get
Yeah.
good quality sticks that are going to be shipped good, that I'm not going to have to jump through a million hoops, things like that. You know, I pick your brain, but not
Yeah.
everyone has you at their text, beck, and call.
Not at the text beck and call. I mean, you can always send emails or messages or whatever, but no, that's true. I mean, you know, it's a little easier for you in that regard.
And even like, you know, with the Villiger, because currently I could not get that through two guys. I
Yeah.
had to step outside for those because I really fell in love with that pack you gave me
Yeah.
from Pulpit Fest. And I wanted them because yeah,
Mm. No, they're good cigar, and dude, and for the not to, you know, I mean, fuck it, they're a sponsor. Let's make this a Villiger commercial for a minute. For the price point,
you can't beat it.
you can't beat it. And then also, given the fact that sometimes you don't have an hour to an hour and a half to sit and smoke a cigar, you know, you can get a good amount of time out of a Villiger export if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
Or you could just sit and freaking puff the damn thing super fast and you can get a decent, you know, shorter amount of time out of it and still have a good smoke. So, you know, yeah, no.
Plus, it is a great stick to give someone who has never really smoked or doesn't smoke often.
Because you don't have to cut it.
Right. And because I have 100 of them.
Oh, well, yeah, there's that too. and also, I don't think it really matters what end you light since since you don't have to cut it. There's really no end that's specific to, you know, like, oh, that's the head, that's the foot, you know, that kind of thing.
I have not found it unless I just can't see it, but you know.
I mean, they've got that tissue, so technically I guess that could designate the foot, but I mean, I know that when I had Cherry on the show and we smoked those, somewhere after taking the tissue off, we got mixed up as to which end was which, and it's like, man, just fuck it, light it up, and it didn't impact the cigar at all. So
I with all of them I've smoked, I guarantee I've smoked both ends between some of them, and I've never had an issue. So
yeah, interesting. Well, see, and the cigar deserts, they that's definitely a concern of mine, because you know, everybody, you know, everybody needs to have that lounge experience. I feel like that adds so much to the overall smoking enjoyment and pleasure, is having that group of people you can sit down, chat with, you know, and relax and you know, and have. But then also theoretically having somewhere comfy to do it at. Now,
Correct.
if you don't have that, if let's say you're living somewhere where, the closest one is 2+ hours away or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, you're not doing that on a regular basis, so you got to figure out something at home. But that's also where kind of like, um, where like this is where my show kind of comes into play a little bit, in that like we talk about cigar stuff, but we talk about other shit because I want to bring that lounge experience, the communication and the conversation aspect
Right.
to people. It's not just an educational type situation. It's, there's other aspects to be um gifted, that I think the podcast can
It's a
provide.
social setting.
Exactly. Exactly. And so, even if you don't have somebody to sit and talk to, you can at least listen to the two of us talk for a minute.
Right.
So, yeah. So have you made lounge friends there?
I have not smoked in the lounge yet.
Oh,
I've
so
been
you
there.
only popped by there, bought your
Yeah.
stuff, but then left. So you
Yeah.
haven't actually sat down and had one there
No.
yet. Okay. Do they charge to do so, or is that
No.
okay?
It's
So
a
you just got to buy the cigar from them.
yeah. That's it.
That's nice. That's nice. I've encountered it both ways, to where, you got to buy the cigar from them, and then it's, you can sit and whatever. But I've also encountered it where you got to buy the cigar from them, and then there's maybe like a $5 or $10, lounge fee or something like that.
No, and they've even got a dedicated TV where you can bring your own like computer and plug it into it, or a PS5 or anything.
Hmm,
You can sit there and play your video games there as long as it doesn't disturb anybody else type shit.
that's cool.
Yeah.
So you just go up there and, bring your copy of Booty Duty 6 and just, let everybody enjoy, go up there, be like, hey, you want a throwback? Here's the Pam and Tommy Lee tape, you know.
But a lot of big comfortable chairs. I can't wait till I've actually got the time to go up there and actually start lounging there.
Notice that he blew past that question there, folks. Anyways, no, I agree. I think that'll be a really nice time for you, and well, and I know you're social. You'll find people to sit and chat with and everything. You'll get your
I've
group
never known
together.
anybody at any lounge I've started going to for the first time by myself. So I mean,
I mean, that's exactly it. That's how you and I met, was sitting in
yep,
the lounge. So, it just kind of has to start somewhere. So
right.
I'm dealing with that with the lounge near me. So, I haven't talked about this on the show, but why not? I'll go ahead and do so. So, the lounge near me, there's a guy that, admittedly, it was his lounge before it was mine, and he was going there, and he's been going there before me. He just happens to be a judge in the local county in which I reside. And I may or may not have written an editorial 6 years ago talking about how he needs to not be retained because he and another judge were responsible for letting a guy who killed a kid get off on bail, and how that was wrong and he shouldn't have been, and all this kind of stuff, and a reduction of charges and all this other kind of stuff. I may have written that, and I may have then followed up on the edition right before election day, reminding readers, vote no on retention for this judge. And I think he remembers. I'm pretty sure he remembers. I'm fairly positive he definitely recognizes me by sight, because as I've gone in there a couple different times now, and he's been sitting in there, everybody else like, hey, how's it going, like the general greetings, being
Right.
friendly to the new guy. He does not. And the other day when he was leaving, there were 4 other gentlemen in the room plus me. Everybody got a personalized goodbye before they left, and well, I didn't, and that's okay. So, so I need to figure out what car he drives, and realistically, I'll probably not stop in if I see his car, only because, like I said, it was his place before it was mine. And I mean, now maybe we could figure this out, but this has been 6 years
Well,
since
it's
I
one
wrote.
thing to freeze you out. It's another thing if he was just coming at you the whole time you're at the lounge.
And admittedly, he wasn't. And I want to give him credit that he was being nice. And he it was one of those, like, if you can't say anything nice, don't say anything at all kind of things. And he did not say anything rude or shitty to me. He just kept it nice and quiet, which is good. I mean, because I don't want to have a fight. I don't want to rehash something. And look, you know what? He won retention, so, like, handily. So it's not like it was, really anything. He's just holding a grudge because, I called him. But you know what? That's life. That's life. That's also life of owning a newspaper in a little community in which you live. It's that, you got to remember when you're writing about these people, you may be pumping gas next to them one day, So what? Yeah. What's funny and what he doesn't know is that his secretaries know that he smokes cigars. And for Christmas, they inquired about what cigars he smokes. And they reached out to a former co-host of this show who knew that, whatever. And he reached out to me and inquired because we had seen him at the Hill and one other shop too. Or maybe it was the Hill just like twice. And so that was the really awkward thing. I was sitting out in the freaking front little, how they got that little room off the patio off the front.
Yeah.
And I didn't recognize him that day. It was me and the other co-host and this woman's out there just doing her bills. And the other guy starts talking to the woman. And come to find out, she was there with her husband. Well, her husband comes out. Well, then the husband and, Jeff start talking. And before it's all said and done, he introduced himself and I introduced myself to him. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm Andy." And I'm like, "I know you." And he goes, "Oh, I know you." And I'm like, "Oh." So he was polite that day because he was with his wife and kind of had to be because it was the four of us in that little room and that was awkward. But since then, I just get the quiet treatment. And like I said, that's fine. We don't need to be bosom buddies, but it's just one of those weird little, oh fuck, really? This is what's happening now kind of things, But so at least you don't have that going on in the new lounge.
No, I don't have that.
You got a fresh start.
I've got nobody here knows me, so
yeah, nobody knows, So just avoid picking your ass in front of everybody, and it'll be all right. Don't wash your underwear in the sink in the kitchen.
Hang it off one of the TVs to dry.
Exactly. Don't do that. Maybe don't bring your dog and feed it a bunch of Dominoes in front of everybody. I mean, there's all kinds of little things you could do to avoid becoming that guy in the lounge. So, yeah. Anyway. Oh, I'm having fun. All right, let's do this. It's time for the Villiger Cigars Entertainment Report, brought to you by Villiger. Villiger Cigars, one of the leading cigar and cigarello manufacturers in the world, founded in 1888 and still family-owned and operated. Head over to VilligerCigars.com and check the store locator to find a shop near you that carries them. We guarantee that Villiger Cigars will be a wonderful addition to your humidor and cigar rotation. So what have you been watching lately? I've been busy as hell, and I'll admit I haven't gotten a chance to watch a whole lot. So I'm hoping that you have a nice list for this.
I've got a decent list here, actually, because I've just cycled back to Max.
Okay.
So I'm catching up on some of the stuff there.
Dude, Chimp Crazy. It's on Max. You need to look into that because that happened like super close to a certain cigar shop you used to work at. like relatively close.
Oh, that took place down in Peevely, I think, or something
Festus.
like that. Festus, okay.
It was in Festus. Not too far.
Yeah.
But that lady with the chimp. Oh, yeah. Yep, that all happened. So check out Chimp Crazy. If you like Tiger King, you'll like Chimp Crazy.
I never watched Tiger King, so.
Oh, for fuck's sake! Well, you got to get on that too, but that's neither here nor there. I mean, he might get a pardon from Trump before it's all said and done.
Probably.
I mean, I would think so. But anyway, so okay. So what have you been watching?
Most recently, I finally watched The Iron Claw, like I brought up to you,
Mm-hmm.
with the wrestling of the Von Erich family
Good movie.
biopic. Very good movie. Um, I went in optimistic because I like old school wrestling stuff and the
Yeah.
stories behind it, and they kept me interested because you
Yeah.
never know with something like that.
Yeah.
It could get real dry and too in depth. You just never know. But it kept me interested. I liked the actors they chose for them. And it was a really good movie. I recommend it if you've got Max to check it out. It's a good watch.
Yeah. Not necessarily the happiest movie of them all, but
But that's the reason why they made it. Because
I was gonna say that story was not a happy story. So
right.
Yeah.
So that I also started Creature Commandos, which
okay.
one of your guests said, Dave.
Yeah, Dave, and yeah, I have yet to start that. I need to, but
I'm only one episode in, but I really enjoyed it. I'll probably watch a few. It's a little hard right now because while we're filming is right near some really good football of the college and pro.
Yep.
So I got a lot of that going on. Plus, the holidays took some time where you didn't get as much, downtime to just stream stuff.
That's been my problem. Yeah.
I've got something written down here, but my light has left me.
Uh-oh.
Well, my handwriting sucks.
It's always one of those moments when you can't read your own writing.
I've been watching a lot of the classic holiday crap too.
Okay.
Just, even some of the old like claymation cartoons and shit I've been that I haven't watched in years, like The Year Without a Santa, stuff like that. Just God, I thought this was cool when I was a little kid. No. I watched believe it or not, my sister, who was 9 years older than me, we watched A Christmas Story, and it was her first time ever seeing it.
Really?
Yeah.
How did she avoid that when it's been on for an entire day most years for quite a while?
She doesn't watch a lot of TV.
Okay.
They've got a lot going on here with animals and fishing and all that stuff, and out in the country.
They're living life, is what
right.
You're saying. Yeah. Okay.
And you got to remember since probably 1990 till the mid 2000s, they were in and out of the country with the Air Force. So it wasn't like, it wasn't as readily. She was out of the country when it became that cult classic that's on all the time, really.
I gotcha. Okay. Okay. So thoughts though from somebody who had never seen it before?
Oh, she thought it was funny and cute as hell. Okay. Because it was a first time. It's
not just beaten into her at this point.
Where you can quote every scene,
Yeah. Have you seen the sequel where the kid is the dad?
I had not.
No, but I can't find anybody who has. So maybe that's part of the reason. I that did not seem to do that great. That came out a couple years ago. I feel like
I'd say more like 5.
It was on. Well, I know it was after my divorce.
Oh,
so it had to have been since 2021 may have been, when it was, but I know it's been since my divorce. But I don't. But because I remember thinking like, oh, I'll watch that, and then I never did, and now I just am like, I don't really know if I care. I mean, because I haven't heard enough about it to make me think, oh, it's good, and I'm missing it. It's kind of the opposite. Boy, this is starting to look like you're in like a Dateline episode, and you're gonna like muffle your voice and be like, they told me that if I bring them money, they would do it. And it's like
the lighting situation is a little weird here.
It's like We have blurred Mike's vistage to protect his identity, you know.
I'm a whistleblower.
Exactly. Well, no, I mean I like Christmas Story and all, but it I will admit the marathons and everything like that have kind of taken a little bit of the shine off of that for me at this point. You know, it's like I've seen it so often that it's like I want to watch something different.
Right.
Now, okay, I got it.
I do want to touch on something from a previous episode. You were talking about Christmas movies with Noah.
Okay.
And you made a comment how you didn't know if Die Hard 2 was a Christmas movie because you thought it took place like right after Die Hard.
I thought it did, but
it does not.
Okay.
And the main way you can tell is when they're on the airplane at the beginning.
Yeah.
And the reporter says he can't sit next to Mrs. McLean because he's got a restraining order against her.
There you go.
That takes too much time. That could not have been a few days later. It's at least the next year.
Yeah. Okay.
Plus, they were estranged, and I couldn't see him flying back to her parents.
No.
Especially a week early.
No. Good point.
So I would say that at least a year after.
Noted. All right. Good point. So I did. Speaking of Christmas movies, I have a topic I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
And this is one that I've been mulling over a little bit here. So, have you seen the animated Grinch from maybe 2018, where Benedict Cumberbatch did the voice of the Grinch?
I have not.
Okay. It's not really relevant, but what is relevant is that at one point in the movie, there's a group of Who's, the little Who people, you know,
and
they're carolers, right? And they're following the Grinch because you get a little bit more. It's a much more in-depth version of the Grinch in that, like, you see kind of why he starts to hate Christmas, and he's interacting with Whoville, like he's in Whoville, he's walking around doing stuff and whatever, and he doesn't like Christmas. Well, at one point, there's this group of carolers, and they're following the Grinch, and they're just singing to him, and he's getting more and more irritated as they sing.
All right.
What's relevant is that some of the songs that they're singing are Christian-based Christmas songs, ones that reference the wise men and the birth and all and everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So by default, by them singing those Christmas carols, at this point now you can say that the Christ narrative is now canon in the Grinch story, in the Dr. Seuss story. So how did the Who's learn about Christ? Who came and brought the good word to Whoville?
That's a good question.
Like what missionary was like, I'm going to go to Whoville and teach them all about Jesus?
Maybe it was Horton.
Now, okay, so let's take it a step further, because you just brought up the other half of this. So there's Horton Hears a Who. And if you remember the story of Horton Hears a Who, what's the deal? Horton has a flower, like a little dandelion, right? And on that flower is this microscopic speck that only Horton with his big giant elephant ears can hear, and that's the Who's.
Mm-hmm.
So now you have Horton, this elephant, protecting Whoville, which is microscopic and living on a flower. So by default, that also means that the Grinch is also microscopic. Mm-hmm. You know, that's something that nobody really thinks about in the grand scheme of it all, because it's like, now you look like you're in that Dangerous Minds music video with Coolio, where you're like, you know, doing the, like, the fucking song.
Anxious Paradise?
That's it. When you lean back and you see the light hits your nose, and it's like, yes, like that. Also Queen from Bohemian Rhapsody. It's like, is this the real life? Yeah. Anyway, sorry. So,
I will work on that before the next one.
Oh, dude, I'm cracking up at it, but that's neither here nor there. But so, okay, so the Grinch is microscopic now too, not something that we consider. But if Horton is interacting with the Who's and they are microscopic, living on this flower, again, who else but Horton could have brought the good word of Jesus to the Who's. But then at that point, you got to say, how does
Who's going
Horton
around talking to an elephant about God?
Who's exactly who is witnessing to an elephant about Jesus? I mean, like, come on now. So I have questions. I have questions about how Christianity has gotten to Whoville. I want to know the answer, because it is. I mean, dude, it's canon. It's canon in Grinch. So I need to know this.
Once you get it in there a little, you got to explain it all.
I have to know, you know. Anyway, I have to know. So anyway, well, did you have anything else on your list?
No.
Okay, well, let's move on and do this. It's time to fly high with Blackbird Cigars. Blackbird Cigars offers you remarkable quality using the most delicate and finest tobacco to always ensure that you're receiving unsurpassed cigars. Blackbird Cigars strives to give you undoubted repeating flavor for every cigar you smoke and impressive quality so that you can always expect greatness. Check out their website for a full list of stores carrying Blackbird Cigars. Give them a test flight. Blackbird Cigars can't clip our wings. Okay, so today I'm going to tell you the story of Sergeant Stubby. Stubby was found wandering. You giggled. I heard that. Stubby was found wandering the grounds of the Yale University campus in New Haven, Connecticut in July 1917, while members of the 102nd Infantry were training. Stubby hung around as the men drilled, and one soldier in particular, Corporal James Robert Conroy, developed a fondness for him. Sergeant Stubby served in the 102nd Infantry Regiment in the trenches in France for 18 months and participated in 4 offensives and 17 battles. In his first year of battle, the dog, Sergeant Stubby, I kind of neglected to mention that it was a dog in the beginning, was injured by mustard gas. And after he recovered, he returned with a specially designed gas mask to protect him. He thus learned to warn his unit of mustard gas attacks, locate wounded soldiers in no man's land, and since he could hear the whine of incoming artillery shells before humans, he became very adept at alerting his unit when to duck for cover. Stubby saved his regiment from surprise mustard gas attacks, found and comforted the wounded, and allegedly once caught a German soldier by the seat of his pants, holding him there until American soldiers found him. And after returning home, Stubby became a celebrity and marched in and normally led many parades across the country. Stubby met Presidents Woodrow Wilson, Calvin Coolidge, and Warren G. Harding, and he died in his sleep in March 1926. His remains are at the Smithsonian National Museum of American History.
Wow.
So, guys, be like Sergeant Stubby and Blackbird Cigars, and don't let anybody clip your wings. I thought that was a fun little story. I came across that, and I'm like, by God, that's a blackbird right there. It's like, you got this little dog, and he's like, the picture that I found of him, he's this little dog, and he's got like a little, almost like a little cape or something on him, and they have all of his medals pinned to it and shit. But it's like, this dog was fighting in World War I, for God's sakes.
There's been dogs at all of those wars.
Well, I know, but this is a tiny little thing too, man. I mean,
yeah,
it's but no, I just thought it was fun. So anyway, so there's that. But in terms of the socials, I am available on Instagram at the Cigar Pulpit. I'm on Facebook, where we have the Pulpit Parishioners group. You can get in on the fun that way. I am on Twitter /X. You can follow me there. I don't really do much but repost there. You can watch this on Rumble, and make sure you get signed up over there, because I don't know how much longer, but I will be on YouTube. I'm on YouTube, and you can watch us there. And then if you use Spotify, we do have Spotify video. So, Mike, where can everybody follow you?
I'm on the parishioners group, so you can always. I got to get a lot better in the new year, checking in, with my exploits and everything like that. But you can reach me through there, and if you can find me on Facebook, go ahead and shoot me a text or a message through there.
There you go. Well, perfect. Well, let's talk about the cigars for a minute. So I'm about, I'd say halfway through
Yeah,
my.
I'm about halfway.
Yeah. So what are you thinking about the Maduro there, the 20th anniversary Maduro?
So far, I really don't get much difference from the 10th anniversary Maduro.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I mean, it's a good smoke. It's got a lot of flavor. It's a good medium to full,
Yeah.
but it's just not that different from their normal 10th anniversaries.
You know, I would probably say similar for the sun grown. I dig them both, so it's not like I'm like
Right. And
upset
that's just
about
it.
it. You
I
know.
really enjoy those cigars.
Yeah.
I just thought that there might be something a little bit more on this.
I don't necessarily know if price point there's a whole lot of difference between the two of them.
Not really.
So it really kind of is, your preference. You get that pepper, like I get the pepper on the retro hail. That's that Nicaraguan tobacco coming through. Some baker spice and what? Oh, that I almost just used my sandwich as an ashtray.
Oh God.
Yeah. Well, I normally keep my ashtray to my right because I smoke with my right hand, and I normally keep my ashtray to my right. But this time, because I have the sandwich over there, I have it on over to my left, and I just naturally just went down to the right, and I'm like, oh, that's my sandwich. So
Sandwiches.
I don't want to ash on my sandwich. But anyway, but yeah, I get kind of the baker spice, and the pepper and whatnot on the sun grown there. But yeah, I think that's a fair thing. I think it's a matter of kind of what you prefer, but either which way. So,
I mean, I'd buy it again because, like you said, it's not like it's a $10 premium over the 10th anniversary or anything.
exactly. Have you had the 30th?
No.
You should try that. You know what? That would be a fun thing to do. Take like the 10th, the 20th, and the 30th, line them up, just bam, 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 just see,
Yeah.
if you can tell the difference. I mean, I do like the 30th a lot. So, although the 30th sun grown is the best of the 30ths, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
they didn't have a 20th sun grown because
Yeah.
the 10th sun grown is one of my favorite all time go tos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that. And actually this one, I had bought a box of the 20th sun grown at the Cigar Expo, New England Cigar Expo. So that's why I happen to have this one. When I messaged you and it's like, what are you smoking? It's like, I'm like, well, I don't have the Maduro, but I definitely have some of the sun grown. So yeah, but good cigar, always enjoyable. So, well, Mike, thank you so much for taking time out to discuss things. I hope you get ingrained into your lounge there and can get involved in the local cigar community and help them maybe expand that selection a little bit and pick up some things. So I think that'd be good.
I think I'm having a little bit of technical difficulty here.
Okay. Well, I'm signing off with you. So Mike, thank you so much for taking time out. I really do appreciate it.
I appreciate you having me on, and we're going to get the kinks worked out here, and I'll be back on again soon.
Sounds good. Mike, take it easy. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I really want to thank Mike again for taking time out of his day. We kind of caught him on the later part of the day, which is why his light kind of gave out. So I really want to, thank him for that. And, we'll get Mike on a little bit more regularly now that, he's got himself his equipment set up and everything else. So, we can get Mike back in the rotation of folks for me to chat with. So it's been great. Well, I went over the socials with him and obviously went over everything else. So I guess that's it. So, guys, anyway, take it easy. This has been another sermon from the Cigar Pulpit. I'm Nick. Stay safe and stay smoky. Later, guys.